Welcome to this episode of the podcast, The Big Idea in the Future of Sales. This week, we'll reflect back on the podcast we did last week with Jonathan Berte, the founder and chairman of Robovision. Now, if we look back at the episode, what were the big ideas that came out of it? Well, there was one single big idea which I really liked and which I would like to reflect back with you on. And that's the fact is, how do we find the customers? How do we find them and who are our best customers? What Jonathan was describing was his industry is changing so fast that customers constantly have to redevelop new visions, new roadmaps for the future. And therefore, they require from Robovision, much more than to be a supplier, to be a partner. Yes, to be a partner in order to think with them, help us to come up with the next vision of the future. How can we improve our machines even further? How can we use AI in another way? Now, in order to do that, Jonathan described, one, you need salespeople who are not only knowledgeable about the sector of the client, but are also capable of really having a vision and developing a vision together with the clients. All right, so far, so good. But what was really interesting is that, but in order to do that, and in order to implement that vision, we need somebody at the client who actually sees this as a real opportunity, who's also a visionary, who see this kind of development really as something important for them. Yeah. So we need visionary salespeople, but we need visionary customers. Where do you find them? And that's the struggle. And that was Jonathan was saying, in the past, traditionally we've been looking in sales as our ideal customers, he has a particular title. And you know which titles that you're looking for, and you start calling into your potential prospects and look for these people who hold those positions. What Jonathan was saying is that, well, that doesn't really work for us. I look for people with a particular attitude, an attitude towards innovation, co-creation, looking for new ways of doing things. But that's not a job title. So where do you find them? And that's what he was saying, is that, well, actually you find them at events. Those people, they are proactively, constantly looking to be challenged. They're constantly looking for information, and they're looking to talk to people. And so you find them at events, in business schools, you find them at seminars. That's where you need to be. And that's why he says, me as a founder, I've always been invited at all those events. I've been speaking there. I was able to sell quite easily. But this raises the question, was he able to sell quite easily because he is the founder? Or was he able to sell quite easily because he was always at the right place, at the right time, talking to the right people? And what he was suggesting is perhaps more of the second. So what he was saying as well, what he's going to do with his salespeople is much more promote them to be the speakers at all those events. Make them take the center stage so that they will be seen as the experts, so that they will be able to meet with the right people who have the right attitude with the right prospect. And that's the big idea I take away from this podcast. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget, register at our podcast and please meet us back for the next episode.